And, it's just, there's like the best laid plans kind of thing. But, you know, playing the hand you've got, that's all that there is. I'm out in the Southwest right now, and there's been some hikes I've done with the dogs where it's like, if you're not fully present in that hike, who the fuck gives a shit about what future plans you have? Seriously, who gives a fuck? If you fall off that, and I've fucking AT&T, which has like no service out here, and nobody even knows where the fuck I am. Like, maybe somebody knows generally where I am, but I didn't fucking like, I just woke up and I was like, hey, you guys want to go here? There's no one around. And it's just like, and the land is gorgeous, but it's like chillingly indifferent. Like, you'll just see, like, I saw a skeleton the other day of like a dog or a coyote, and all that was left was like the little fur on the paws. Other than that, it was just like rib cage, and the dogs kind of looked at it, and I was like, "Yep, that's what the fuck happens out here." And the land just goes, and it doesn't give a fuck. And yeah, it's so funny. I've been watching all these like caving videos on YouTube. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Nutty Putty incident, where a guy, this fucking poor bastard, just thinks he's going one direction in this cave. It's like Thanksgiving, and he's with his family, and he takes a wrong turn, and he's like kind of like, oh, like getting stuck, but he thinks he can just like get somewhere and turn around, and he just crawls head first basically into his own tomb. And they try to get him out, and his brother tries to get him out, and his dad, and these rescuers, and they fucking just can't get this guy out. He just like went head first, like with his like feet sticking out into this tiny hole, and that was it. And this guy was like a fucking like pediatrician in training at UVA or something like that, like a bright guy with a wife and a kid and another baby. I mean, just fucked up shit. And when you think about it, it was all just like a totally willing, there's this there, but for the grace of God, go I. And there's probably some hubris in there. And, some of these videos are pretty cringe. They're like, this story is da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, yeah, all right. I mean, you collect your check, whatever. It's like the true crime channel is like, we are very... we express our deepest condolences for the victim. Anyway, like Heather so-and-so was like gutted and hung from a blah, blah. And you're like, all right, yeah, very respectful to be, commercially sharing the story with the world. Whatever. I mean, it's fun. It's fun to listen to. It's fascinating. Again, we're back to the dark side of things. But yeah, it's like, I was just sort of like reflecting on that Nutty Putty thing, and I'm like, here I am in this fucking travel trailer, having basically said, I want to live in a new way. I want to sort of minimize my costs, maximize my time for writing and stuff like this, and songwriting and shit. My multimedia extravaganza that began when I was a kid, and I'm still finding my way through. And, of course, you try to simplify your life, and then you got to figure out the propane, and then the water pump goes out, and then where are you going to park? And you're waking up every day and going to a new park. And I don't believe in those like RV places. Like, those are scummy to me. So, but anyway, it's, you just try to simplify your life and just make it fucking 100 times harder. And then, but then you're meeting all these characters and stuff, and like all these struggles, and you're like, oh, actually, if I can get better at dealing with all these problems, I'll probably be a better like person. And I have like a temper, and I get very frustrated and stuff. And, a lot of it's probably from what I feel like is unrealized potential and shit. So here I am like struggling through, a leak, or I got stuck in some other mud. I took a wrong turn, and it was a fucking disaster. I got the trailer stuck, and then I got my pretty souped up SUV stuck and shit, and just feeling like a fucking idiot. But then the cop in the middle of nowhere that responds and well, like used to work for special effects in LA and grew up in the Valley, and we're talking about James Cameron. It's just like what the fuck is this shit? It's like a movie. It's and I do feel like my life. A lot of people say this, and it is. I sometimes cringe a little bit, but I do feel like so much of this is this like just fascinating cross section of humanity, and I really believe that central casting doesn't miss with these fucking characters. With that fucking cop who had just given up on the Hollywood game after finding this wife and moved to this fucking middle of nowhere in Texas, and is there, and we're both up to our ankles in this like mud that just grabs on I've never seen mud like this. And we're talking about movies and waiting for some till like a truck couldn't come. It had to be like one of those little fucking bobcat things to pull me out. This guy and his son, and I'm not even doing that good a job of explaining it. I think I'm better explaining the characters writing. So maybe that'll be the next step, is like I just kind of talk about shit here like it's a therapy session, and then I really feel like when I write about the characters it comes to life. Talking about it right now feels a little forced, for whatever it's worth. But again, like I'm sort of like up against myself right now in terms of, can you find some way to live a life that's true to you and also like contribute something meaningful to society? Like, I don't really want to just like be some drifter. Like, I want to create, I don't know if it's short stories or screenplays or songs or all of them, I mean, you see a guy like Chris Christopherson or something. I'm not even the biggest fan of him, but just to do so many things is so awesome, But I really do think my biggest hurdle and where I'm at right now is just like learning to work with myself and just learning to accept things. It's like, all right, so dude, you did an episode of whatever this is, laying down, holding the phone with the fisheye pointed at you, which is actually kind of nice because then I don't have to look at my own face, which feels pretty cringe. But yeah, you get to see however animated I am. It's probably pretty dim, but whatever. This is what it is. This is what this is. This is my snapshot. Like, I'd rather do this. I'd rather capture this and put it out. And if it's crickets or whatever, so be it. But at least I'm making peace with what I have, what's working, what I can go with, what I can just like get done. And God willing, I'll iterate and I'll get better. But again, it's play the hand you're dealt. And this is the hand I'm playing right now. So, I don't know if there's some overarching message about this or something. I guess I hope I've shed some light or been honest about what it's like to be sort of like an unfocused, unconventional creative attempting to live in this, day in this society. And it's been a roller coaster. And to what extent this is just a quick phase or this is something that leads to something else, I don't know. I'm doing my best in this moment to open my heart, share what my life is like. And, there's certain things that I'd love to be more comedic with or more sincere with or whatever. But this is the mood that on this, night, this southwestern night, laying in the bed of my travel trailer with a couple dogs and a dream. This is what I got. This is what I have to offer. So to anyone who stayed for this length of time, God bless you. Thank you for listening. And I guess we'll just see where this all goes. Good night.